Oh my gosh. How long have you been doing this? Comedy, right? It's
Uh,
comedy.
yeah, stand-up comedy. I've been doing 10 years.
10 years. Nice. And tell me this real quick. Why is the pronunciation of your name so ridiculous on Facebook?
Oh,
It's not Fonokalafi. That's your last name, right?
yeah, yeah. Oh, when you play the button,
Yeah.
it's like
I don't even remember what it was.
funky house Kalafi, something
Yeah.
like that.
What happened there?
Oh man, I don't know. Everyone pronounces it wrong anyway. So it's like, well,
Ah,
make this funny up.
yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Did you grow up here in Utah?
I was born here. I was born. I lived here until I was 11, and then we moved to Washington, Washington
Washington
State.
State?
Yeah, and then I moved back. Gosh, man, about 5 years ago. No, almost 9 years ago. Moved back. Yeah.
What brought you back?
Um, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm here and I can't seem to leave.
Right? I did it on purpose, I guess.
Is your wife's family out here or what?
No, her family, well, her sister moved out here recently, and then her brothers are attending school at BYU, but she's originally from Mississippi. So her parents are still out in Mississippi.
Well, okay, so let's officially say we're starting. But
Okay, all right.
how did you guys, well, just know, I mean, I record from the beginning anyway, so,
Yeah.
whatever is usable is usable. Tell me, how did you guys meet?
I'm supposed to say not the internet. That's that.
Oh, well, that cleared it up. It was the internet, huh?
No, that's the story I like to tell. Is that we met online. We actually met at church. I was the Sunday school president, and she was a Sunday school teacher, and so I maybe abused my authority a little bit.
Oh, no, no, sir. Roll that back. Roll that back. Say it a different way. Oh,
I used my power of influence to get
oh,
dinner.
there you go. Oh, that's too funny. And was it like a singles ward or what?
Yeah, we met at the I think it was the 19th ward, singles ward in Ogden, and I had to I was dating someone when we met, so I needed
I'm
to.
just gonna keep. Okay, this story gets better.
Oh no, there was nothing that happened during that relationship. I just needed to get out of that. It
Just
was
wasn't the
not
right
a good.
one.
Yeah, it wasn't the right relationship,
Because
and
I mean,
so.
we could put her on blast. I don't mind. I mean, I don't know her. We can say whatever you want to say. So you had a relationship, wasn't working out, and you're the Sunday school president, and here's this cute girl who is
You know, it actually it took us like 4 years to actually go on our first date because
powers of
well when
influence, man.
I
I'm not looking at you sideways. No, that's
I
not
was
me.
uh I was playing the long game.
There you go.
I thought that she was really not interested because I'm like 6 years older than her, so I aged out of the singles ward. Um, like she was only there for like a year, I think, and then I aged out of the singles ward, and then we just kept in contact after that.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. And so then how did you eventually bust this move that led to
Um,
dinner or led to the first date?
well, we went on our first official date, and then um, I don't know. It was one of those things because we didn't actually officially date for very long before we got married. Maybe like
I hate to say it, but that is the Utah Valley way. And I say it like it's not the same up
yeah.
in Salt Lake. It's the same
Yeah,
everywhere. Yeah.
I but I was under the notion that I was like, well, I'm getting older, and if this feels right, it's right, and it's been really good. We've been married a little over a year, just had our first baby, and everything is going great. It's going really good.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. So do you have family out this way?
My sisters live here, and
Mhm.
then my brother and his family and my parents live up in Washington still.
See, okay, are you full Tongan? I'm guessing you're Tongan.
A half. I'm half Tongan, half Samoan, and then there's
Okay.
some German and other things
Of
mixed in
course.
there somewhere. Yeah.
Everybody has German, right?
Right.
So is it your mom who saw Morn or what?
Yeah. Yeah. On my mom's side.
Okay. Okay. This is good. And do you have a lot of cousins up this way? Do you
Oh
roll
yeah.
with the Polys? Is that your thing?
Yeah.
Well,
I
you
don't know.
can't
I'm
now because you're married and you're not supposed to.
right.
Go home with your wife.
Well, I actually live up here in Ogden, and there's not as
That's
big
not
of a
heavy.
pocket. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not as big of a pocket up here in Ogden. So I don't know. I'm pretty disconnected from like most of my cousins live down West Valley, South Jordan, Provo area.
I know
Uh,
where we are. I'm like,
yeah,
I know where we gather. You're right.
yeah.
That's good stuff. So then tell me, how did you get into comedy?
I was at so yeah, so 10 years. Oh, I guess I moved back 10 years ago because that's when I started
Mhm.
comedy. I moved to Utah after getting dumped. My heart was broken, and so I came here, and then I was kind
I
of
knew
sulking.
this would be a love story. Okay, let me get some popcorn. Hang on.
Uh, no, but my heart was broken. I was sulking one night, and I was flipping through the paper back when they had physical newspapers, and I saw an ad from Wise Guys that said open mic night Wednesday, and
Oh.
I didn't really I wrote a couple of jokes, and then I really didn't intend on going up on the stage, but my buddy came with me, and he was like, no, you have to go up, you have to go up, and so I went up and got a bunch of laughs on my first joke, and then didn't get any laughs for
And then it was a little
maybe
dry after that. We went into a
yeah,
drought.
yeah, there was a little bit of a dry spell, and I just kept chasing that laugh after that.
Well, tell me, do you remember your first joke?
I do. I could tell it, and then you can cut it if you think it's. uh, so my first joke was I was walking around the store the other day, and someone stopped me, and he must have been offended at something I said because he called me a homophobe, and then I got mad and started back because I'm not a homophobe. Like I love homes, I love living in them, and I love staying in them, and I hope to own one day. It's gay people that scare me a little bit. that was uh,
Um, okay.
that was
But
the first joke I told.
and I'm gonna say it was 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
You hit a lot of angles there. You certainly did.
Yeah.
And so why exactly did you choose comedy as your form of release here? Because okay,
uh,
tell me about the heartbreak that brought you out here. Not a
well,
lot, but give me enough.
yeah, I uh, I really liked this girl, and up in she was from Vernonia, Oregon, and she really wanted to serve a mission, and I stupidly said, "Well, you got to choose me or the mission," and obviously she chose God. so, so
I I know that we just met, but that's on you, sir.
that was that was on me. I did that,
Most
and
people don't bring up a desire to serve God because they want to choose between you and God.
right,
Oh,
right. I could not compete with the higher power.
and
And
he
so
let you know, and that's good.
right. And he did again actually after so I moved here, and then I started doing comedy. So I was going to Salt Lake a lot to make it to these open mics. And I got an email from her telling me that she got her mission called to Temple Square,
Oh, and
Salt Lake mission.
that's a little
And I was like, "Oh,
intense.
you're hilarious. You're hilarious."
Oh my gosh. I left because you picked God over me, and then God brought you right to my backyard.
Yeah.
Oh, so that is some luck. That is
Yeah,
so
that was it was a very funny time in my life. I like to talk about.
does that come up a lot in your comedy?
No, I haven't actually made any jokes about that. It's just
It's,
kind of a
it's a
funny.
little too close.
Yeah, it's a little, yeah. You distance myself from those emotions.
I'm so sorry. that I'm just enjoying the story way
Well,
too
it's good. It's fun.
much. So did that end up being any kind of conflict, or it was fine to see it?
No, no, we continued not having contact. Uh, I avoided Temple Square for like 3 years just to make sure
Yeah,
because
that
she
she
was
didn't extend and stay for an additional
right.
year.
Well, because I didn't really pay attention to her when she was reporting and leaving, and so I was like, well, 3 years sounds good, and then it's safe.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. That's totally understandable. Did you serve a mission at some point?
yeah, I served the Cherry Hill, New Jersey, back in 2004.
And this was what, coming back to Utah? No, you didn't come straight here. You went back to Washington. Is that right?
Yeah, then I went back to Washington. Yeah,
I'm still confused as to why you came to Utah.
it was kind of well, I was born here, and so in my head, I was like, let's just
Go with a
find.
native.
Yeah, it was just kind of it was only supposed to be a year. I was only supposed to be here a year, and then I was supposed to put everything back together back in Washington, but
Yeah. And
then
and putting it back together, was that the love story went sideways?
oh no, everything back together was just like figuring out life. I love the West Coast, the Northwest actually.
Hmm.
It's like green and gorgeous and rainy, and I still love it out there, but like after a year, like I had a job and I was making money and had vacation leave, and so I had like already thrown down roots, so I
Right,
just kind of got stuck.
right. Started building a life here. So
Yeah,
then let's go back to that first. You went to the comedy club, you got your first laugh,
yeah.
and then you stayed chasing laughs. So tell me about that journey. What happened there? Actually, you know what? Tell me about that journey, because I know there are a lot of people out in the world who want to be comedians who haven't quite
Mhm.
figured out how to put their foot on that path.
I think well, there's a lot of man every time I think that I got this whole comedy thing figured out, and I'm like, oh, this is how you make it. Uh, Something happens, and it reveals like this new method of getting laughs. And um, when I started, I did open mic for I think like 2 months, 2 or 3 months,
Hmm.
and then I was contacted by the club owner Keith Stubbs, who invited me to do weekends. And so then I started doing weekends like all the time. And um,
Were you doing your own set, or were you hosting? What were you doing?
I was mostly doing opening. So I was opening, like doing like 5 to 7 minutes in front of a traveling headliner. In that time, I got to open for like Dave Coulier and Louis Anderson. I met JJ Walker. Um, he's
I'm
not a comedian,
Facebook
but I
friends with JJ Walker, and I pretend that I know who he is. I never met him.
yeah, he's a super interesting guy. Really, really nice. Just super interesting. And um but yeah, I got to meet all these big names and perform with most of them. And uh but isolating myself to the club, I thought was the path. But then um you come up with like these weird shows. Right now I've organized uh the socially distant comedy show that me and my buddies are doing, which is opening up this new method of getting a crowd. We've only done two. We have our third one coming up this week. It's really weird. It's a weird thing,
Yeah,
but it's really fun to do because it's that raw stand-up comedy with a new type of venue that I don't know many people have ever ventured into.
got it.
And yeah, it's I mean, no, you did when you start, like, just stay in the safety net of the club. Find an open mic, go to that open mic. And the biggest thing is just, you can't do the toe in the water method. You got to just jump. You just have to go into it. And
But
even if you're
what
not
is the toe? What does that look like? Toe in the water. What does that look like when you are a comedian?
uh there's so many people that'll come to open mic to see what it looks like,
Uh-huh.
and they'll like, oh, next time I'll go up next time. And so like 3 months down the road, they're like, oh,
Next time.
next time, and they never do, because they want to stick their toe in the water,
Yeah.
but they never actually get in. And the comics that really really get going are the ones that just jump. They don't even test the water. They just go into it, and there's a lot of silence. Um,
That's that sounds hurty on the
yeah,
feelings. It sounds a little painful.
but that's where you grow. That's where you grow the thick skin, is the silence of and you find out what's funny and what's not funny, and it's really trying to work that. You find what's funny and you just concentrate on that, develop it, find another thing that's funny, and then pretty soon you have a 10-minute, then a 20-minute, then a 40-minute. Pretty soon you're a headliner.
Nice. Have you headlined?
I have, yeah. Actually I have a dry bar special.
I was gonna say, was it Dry Bar? Maybe that's where I saw you before. Go ahead, tell me about that.
I Yeah, I have a dry bar special. I wish I titled it differently.
What is it currently titled?
It's titled the Specific Islander, which it's after a joke I thought would be funnier about people. I don't know if you've had this experience, but people will come up and they'll just be like, "Are you one of them specific islanders?" And they're like, "Yes."
Yes, that's yes, what you said. Yes. I never have that problem because no one can tell that I'm from the islands in the first place. And when they guess, they always guess Fiji. They never guess Samoa. Oh,
Really?
I'm like, I've never, but I can imagine specific islander.
Right.
Man, it's a hard one. It's a hard one. Oh, wow. Okay, so then you headlined at Dry Bar.
Yeah, and I've headlined Wise Guys, like, locally.
Mm,
I traveled out of state. The last trip I took before this whole COVID mess was Texas.
nice.
And then I'm scheduled to do a show at a convention in Vegas. I think they just pushed it out to next June, but it was supposed to be this
Summer.
June. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. That does sound really nice. How did you and your what happened specifically that you and your friends kind of got your heads together and said, "Hey, we got to figure out a different way to put these shows together."
Um. So I have a little bone to pick with KSL, because they quoted me, but well, maybe it's not with KSL. I just interview really horribly.
Oh,
Um,
good
it
to
is
know.
so the idea came from being bored, and if I'm bored, then I mean I can't imagine what everyone must be bored to
Right.
some
Some degree.
super, yeah, some degree. And uh a lot of comics, especially in Utah, I've been seeing are doing these streaming shows. They're
Okay.
they're just like streaming sets online, or they're getting together in Zoom conferences like this, and doing Zoom shows. And the tough thing about that is that you like the audience isn't there. So like
Oh, interesting.
I've I've done two shows streamed from someone's house in another location, and they're really hard because the audience isn't there to give you a reaction.
No,
And
no one is laughing.
right. And so with the rules of like staying 6 feet apart and no gatherings among above 10, I was like, well, maybe there's a way to like perform to an audience while they're in quarantine.
Mhm.
And so the original idea was to target apartment complexes, because
Oh,
all their
captive
balconies,
audience. Yeah.
yeah, their balconies all face one central location. We just perform in that central location. And that was the original idea, but I actually started getting contacted by people who just live in neighborhoods.
Mhm.
And so the first one we did was out in Lehigh, in this new housing development, and all the people in the development, they were all 6 feet apart, but they were scattered all over the place, and our sound system was good enough to reach them. And like I remember standing with the comics who agreed to do this, because it was Steve Solberg and Kylie Cook. They agreed to do it, and I remember thinking like they're gonna hate me, because this is going to be the worst thing. This is the dumbest idea I've ever come up with. And it was really, really fun. The audience loved it. They loved like getting out of their home for just a few minutes and finding a way to like get entertained, something new and fresh to break up the monotony of this whole quarantine. And
Right.
yeah, the comics ended up loving it, and so we were like, let's do it again. And so the second time I was like, well, the first one was a fluke. This is going to be terrible. And that one went
Now I'm
really
gonna lose all my friends.
yeah. And that one ended up going really well. So now we're just, I guess we decided we're just going to keep doing these until
When you
over.
were interviewed the first time, what show was that? Which show did they have footage from?
The second one. So the second one we did was in Centerville, Utah.
Okay.
And that's the one they had the footage of Steve, I think, was the one from the spot they did. And yeah, I was really nervous about KSL because there's always a fear that no one's going to show up.
Right.
And so now I'm contacted by KSL and they're like, hey, we're going to send a camera guy out to video you. And I'm like, oh, can we reschedule for like show 6 or 7 when I know people are going to start coming?
But that's a whole jump all the way in, right? Just
Right,
do
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
No, it was a good clip. It was a good clip. I
Yeah,
saw
I'm glad it went well. And I've actually been getting contacted by more people who want us to come to their neighborhood and put on a show.
Yeah, that's man. Where do people actually reach out to you and find you to set up these shows?
So most people who know me or with common friends, they'll just find me under my name. Oh gosh, sorry for that.
No, you're good.
They'll find me on Facebook on my private account and just send me a message or I have a fan page, a fan group on Facebook called The American Islander. And so people have been finding me on The American Islander and sending me messages. And
I did see your group page and I was like, now is he American Samoan? What is he saying? Of course, I'm the only one confused because I have too many points of reference, but the American Islander. Tell me about that name.
That was a way to try to describe my comedy. I guess the way that I tell jokes. I spent many years like not connecting with my Polynesian side. It wasn't until I was actually like I was 22 and we went to Hawaii. And we went to the PCC.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it Laie? Did you go to Laie like everybody else goes? Did you come to the meeting point, to our Mecca?
Right to the Mecca.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went through the PCC, and Mike, obviously, we didn't pay anything because we have cousins, but they tickets are expensive.
They are. I'm always like, just to see the stuff we already know how to do, I'm getting in free somehow. Yeah.
But yeah, we went through all the villages to Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, and Hawaii, and the Mari tent was like amazing, and just to to realize what I've robbed myself of for years, and to realize that like I don't know if I can get that back. I perform like if you listen to an audio recording of me performing, you probably wouldn't know that I was Polynesian. And
based
so
on
like
the accent, the accent
yeah.
that neither one of us have. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of like it was kind of a way to describe me and my comedy, was that I'm an American Islander. Like I'm very Americanized, but I'm an Islander. And so I don't know, I wanted at one point to like start this whole tribe and clan online and call myself like the chief of the American Islanders. And,
I mean, it could work. There's definitely a market for it.
We would dress in our outfits, but we would be eating like a Big Mac on the curb or something.
Right. Exactly. I wear flip-flops in the winter, it's true, but not the whole winter. Right. Yeah. It's the small things. It's the small things that set us apart.
Take the garbage out. Just
right. Oh my God. but the rest of the time I do have boots. So yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, no, there, there are some of us. Yeah, yes. Like, so tell me, what did you decide then after you went to Hawaii, you went to Laie, you went to the PCC, and you saw all of this culture everywhere? Had a little bit of, was it? Can I say it was regret? Would that be accurate that
Yeah,
you had not been a part
not
of it?
being, yeah, not being more in touch with it. And like part of it was the way my dad made sure we were raised. He kind of wanted us to be successful, and so in his head, my dad immigrated from Tonga,
Hmm.
and so in his head he was like, well,
All
distance
American.
them distance them from the culture, they're more successful in this country. And I think at some point he started regretting the fact that we don't speak any of the languages.
Hmm.
I mean, we say things like we call top ramen Simon, but
Yeah.
there's not very much after that. And so
Yeah. Yeah. We still have the same meaning, and that's it.
right.
Yeah.
So so like yeah, like there was a lot of regret and a lot of like respect that I gained for my culture. And it changed from like viewing things like luau's as like boring events to like understanding, like getting it. You know, there's like, oh no, it's really fun now to gather around and watch these dances about things and to eat a lot of food. Like that is a great culture to have.
Yeah. I don't regret it anymore. I see where they're coming from. Yeah.
Right.
It's funny because you know what, I never thought of that, but I've never really been a big fan of the luau's either.
Yeah.
I just it's always felt like work. It's like now I get to go and work and cook and serve and cook and
Right.
stop and dance and come back and cook and serve. Ah. So what else did you kind of, you're still okay. All is well. Like, what else did
So
you
sorry.
pick up on that you really kind of turned a corner
um
on?
well, I wish that I was Mari. Man, those guys are,
And Fakonga is loving that. They're like, what? No, Maoris are, I mean, they're pretty,
oh, they're
I'm not going
rad,
to swear. Yeah, they're good. They're
right?
amazing.
And I wish I like they're all about war. They decimated their own island.
Yeah,
Like,
that's scary. Man, they're tough. Man, when they get out there, yeah,
right?
yeah.
I love the Tongan culture, and I love their food and the music and stuff.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, but that like there's all these like dances and stuff, but like Maris are like, no, let's just eat them.
Yeah, they're like, I'm just coming for your throat right now. That's what
Right.
I'm doing. To all my Maori friends, I didn't say it. He said it. It is an amazing culture. It really
Yeah,
is. Yeah, not 100% in line with the dominant Polynesian culture,
right.
but it's so cool. Yeah, for sure. So aside from wanting to be Maori, finding out luau's were fun, was there anything else that was super significant?
um, just I mean, to be more on a serious note, like the strength of each culture, like the people, like they were disconnected, and they still are for the most part of like
Yeah.
all society, but they still continue, and everything is so family driven. And I guess like that, there's one story from my childhood where I can really link like a very cultural lesson, um, or moral that my dad kept with us, which is like family. Like
Okay.
family is a family unit. And I remember how weird it was. I went on my first scouting trip,
Hmm.
and I had brought I had brought bacon to like for everyone, right? So I just brought a ton of bacon, because I was like, well,
That is
everyone's
solid.
everyone.
It
Well,
wasn't one pack. It was 15 packs of
oh yeah,
bacon.
and everyone was looking at me like I was weird. And I was like, this is bacon for us. And I remember someone like partitioning out like my food, which was like a ton of bacon, and then everyone else's food that they had brought, and they were like, these are everyone's meals. And in my head that was a weird concept for me, because like growing up my brother and I shared underwear, And so like it was just this very like possessive, like it doesn't make sense that this is mine and this is yours. Like, why can't we just all
Have yes, this big, yes,
yeah. And like that's something that I really like about like when I visit family is there's not really a concept of, like too much of what I can give you.
right,
Every time I'd visit my grandma, immediately start cooking something for us to eat. And
yeah,
like her home is always open and shared. And I go to my cousin's house and same thing, everything's open and shared. And um, I really like that about us.
yeah. That sense of yeah community inside the family.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you or do you think your brother anticipated that you would tell the world essentially that you shared underwear?
That
Do
we
you
shared
think he
underwear.
he kind of knew that was on the horizon for him?
uh well, we
I'm
both
kidding.
we both talk about it. It's we know we're aware
We
of our
know.
history. Yeah.
We were both there. Don't even worry about it.
We don't do it anymore.
That is, I mean, yes. Good job. I'm like, oh, I've got to just let that go. Pretend like, just don't say anything. Just let it go. Oh my goodness. This is, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of perspective that you have that I've never really considered. I tell people that I grew up in the Samoan consulate. My dad is American, but my mom is Samoan, and she's basically the one who creates the vibe in the house.
Mhm.
And so yeah, we grew up on our own little island of the islands. We never really she didn't let us play because she's scared of everything. She's like, somebody's gonna kill you. You stay in the house. And I was like, okay, then I guess we're staying in the house. Got us all dressed up for Halloween and said, no, it's the people put the eraser in the apple. Oh,
Okay.
okay. Well, that's what she thought. And so that's what we went with, and we stayed home. Yeah, someone
Hey,
counselor. So I I've not ever seen anyone who like kind of missed out and now wants to, you know, return and like bring that culture back into life.
right.
It's kind of cool. So how does all of that end up in your comedy? What's the perspective there?
Um, it's mostly well, I'm building something about my dad. Because my dad was like that, and he still is to this day. Like he hears something and he's like, "No, that's how it is." Dad, that's not like I don't know where you heard this. Like, no, I remember the razors and the candy thing. The putting razors in the candy. Yeah, but the odds of that happening, man.
No. How? How and then how is no one seeing where the razor went in?
Right.
And I'm not gonna fight you because that's not worth it. But
Right.
how?
Having a conversation with my dad about how the cell phone company isn't charging him for text messages per character was that was a 2 hour conversation I had with my dad. I'm like, Dad, they're not counting the letters. And he's like, yeah, they're counting the letters. My bill is so high because of that. Like
are,
it's
are
high,
you
it's high
sure?
because you got all this extra stuff.
It's like, nope, nope.
Yeah, no,
Nope.
stop texting me such long texts.
Yeah.
All right.
You're not my son. You run my bill. Yeah. Oh man, parents are fun. Parents. So
he he recently learned how to text, um, which is such a gift.
it,
Like
for years, I never erased the text that my mom sent me. It was the best. Is it the spelling? Is it the pronunciation of his words? What is it that you love about the texting?
oh yeah, it's the spelling and like how because of the way he spells the text, like I can read it in his voice, and then it's the fact that I get him at like 3 a.m. when he can't sleep, and so I guess I don't get to sleep, and he just and it's like I remember when he found out how to open the emoji keyboard, and I would just get all these emojis. Like, oh hey dad,
So you're feeling happy, sad, angry, a little sick, happy. Okay, got it.
yeah,
Oh man, that is so good. My mom, I do remember a time. I have a nephew. He's got blonde hair, blue eyes, right?
Mm.
It just my sister's kids just all are very light, and they all have, except for one, they all have really light colored eyes. And my mom was really surprised at what this brand new baby looked like, and she wrote me um, uh, a message, and she said that the baby had, it was PLOND hair, and then PLUE eyes, and I was not in that mode of thinking of what she was talking about. And I was like, what is blonde? What is blonde? What is this blue? I had to switch all the way back to, oh, I'm talking to my mom. She's telling me the baby has blonde hair, blue eyes.
Well,
Blonde and blue, what is that? I imagine you maybe get some of those. Ah, what about your mom?
my mom was born in Maine, so her dad is from Texas, and he was in the military, so they moved around a lot. That's how they
Oh,
ended up in Utah. Was he was actually stationed at Hill for a while.
yeah.
Uh, so it's mostly like my grandma,
Mm-hmm.
and my grandma is such a funny lady, but she's from American Samoa,
Mm-hmm.
and so like growing up was always fun with her because I learned my first swear word from her because she couldn't pronounce shed. And it was such like a she's so she's such a funny lady, but yeah, she worked her fingers to the bone. She's living. We had to move her into a nursing facility recently, but she's yeah. Till that day that she moved out, she would take the axe out and just hack at trees and stumps in the yard, and she was like mowing the lawn. Like, Grandma, you're like 900 years old. You need to stop doing this. And she's like, will you stop calling me that? Well, will you act like it, please?
And did she tell you that if she doesn't do it, who's gonna do it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Classic
all
line,
the
huh?
time. And
Yeah.
I hired someone to come and mow the lawn, and I paid them for like 3 months until I found out that she was telling them to leave when they would show up. So
And they
she was
never
still
told
mowing.
you.
Yeah, they never told me. Just took the money, and I was so angry because I was like, Grandma, I gave money to these people to do this. And she's like, if I got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love it. That is so good. So do they influence your family? Do they influence your comedy a lot?
Oh, a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I I mean, I hate to like my dad. My dad is the big focus right now because I just became a dad,
Yes.
and so
Congratulations on that.
thank you. I'm very excited to every day makes it like yeah. I'm trying not to be too cliche with everything I'm saying, but
It's new
all
dad
the
stuff. It's a real thing.
yeah, and it's all true. The whole like oh like there's more meaning in my life now, and my love grows, and like yeah, all that sappy cliche stuff that people say, all that happened when I became a dad.
Huh. Now I feel bad for all those judgments.
right, right.
All those times. I could have done better. Oh. So
But
does
yeah,
that,
my
uh-huh.
dad's having a huge influence on my comedy right now because that's all I'm thinking about is being a dad and what it was like. He was over. He came over. So he's in town right now, and he came over a couple days ago, and just talking about him all these times that he would like fight people, and
Mhm.
he was like one time we were on a family drive, and some dude cut us off, and so my dad followed him to Smith's, and like he didn't like beat him up, but he like pinned him up against the wall and was like yelling in his face and stuff. And it turns out the guy was late for work,
Oh.
and he was rushing to Smith's to get there on time. But because he was late and because he started a fight with my dad, the his manager came out and fired him. Right, and so like the police were called and stuff, and there's events like that
Yeah.
where like stuff happens, and my dad like just gets really kind of angry and violent, and then the one story that I really wanted to hear was the time when he went to go get barbecue sauce at like 9 p.m. so that we could eat dinner at 11.
Right.
And, and he,
Not unusual.
and it was a barbecue too, so he wasn't ready to start barbecuing until like 10:30. But he went to the store and he's gone forever, and he comes back and he's just like shocked, like he's kind of in distress emotionally, and he just sits down on the couch, and there's 4 of us in the house, 4 kids, and we're like, hey man, your kids are hungry. Like, what's going on? And he's like, I don't think I can cook today, I'm disturbed. And like, what happened? And he tells us about how when he was walking into the store, this guy came running out, and my dad, like, he tried to give my dad a shoulder, and so my dad like just kind of nudged him, and the dude flew through a plate glass window. and and
With
like
those
the
big old
manager,
tongue and shoulders.
yeah,
No.
it was like the way he describes it was like this light nudge. And so like all the management and everything all come running up, and it turns out this dude was like robbing the store, and he was trying to get out of the store. So the police came and interviewed my dad, and my dad comes home and he's like telling us the story, and he's like in distress, emotional distress over it. And I'm like, dude, didn't you once grab like a guy by his ponytail and slam his head into the steering wheel because he wouldn't move his car, and now you're like affected by this accident?
By
Just
this
cook the
gentle
food,
touch.
and you didn't even bring the
Like, that's
barbecue sauce.
That's the real problem. What am I going to eat this with? What? Oh, this plain chicken.
But he really is just this old guy trying to come back. Hey, baby. My wife is here now with my baby.
Do you want the baby?
Yeah. You want to see my baby?
Yes, of course, because I know you're so excited.
Oh, I'm so happy. Hey, look at the camera. No, those lights are cool, but let's show that part. Edit that out. Look at that.
Oh, he's so beautiful. How old is he?
It's a she. She's
well, you put her in blue.
He's a little yeah.
We're tired of pink.
She's a little over 1 month, and not 1 year. I kind of said that spaced weird.
You did. I was gonna say that's a very small 1-year-old.
She has always baby syndrome.
Yeah, right.
She's 1 month. She has a little I don't know if she's
Yes.
I'm gonna cast it. She was born with a clubbed foot.
Okay.
So they're casting it to get that corrected. Well, her name is Niua.
How do you spell that?
Niua.
Niua.
It's Niua Hartley. Hartley's her middle name. Niua Hartley.
For the Balangis in the world.
Yeah.
Just call her Hartley. Just go with Hartley. Oh, of course you're so in love. Of course. Yes, and you have a daughter. I mean, I'd say it, but that's like dads love their daughters. That's a thing. Yeah.
I'm still scared for the day that I have to punish her.
You really won't be when it comes. You'll be ready. You'll be like, you pushed my buttons long enough. All right, it's on.
Right.
You're gonna run your family. It's just a matter of time. Probably by age 8, she'll be in charge, and you guys will have to tell her we're the parents.
Right.
You need to sit down. Oh.
She's already got my dad. She's already got my dad wrapped around her finger. Like anything, I'm like, hey, the baby wants a swing, and a swing appeared at my house the next day.
Oh, nice.
Right. Nice. The baby wants a check for $1,200.
And if that could just be made out to her dad, right?
It'll go in her education fund at some point. I promise.
Right. So I went. Yeah, I'll refund it to there eventually. Oh, she's so beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
My wife did a good job.
Look at that smile.
Was she smiling?
She did all the way up until you switched her around.
I know. She smiles for 2 seconds all the time.
I love it. I love it.
Right.
Oh, did your wife walk all the way away?
She did. She was thirsty and wanted a break.
Yes. Oh, that is so good. So here is my question for you, since it's your proud dad moment. That's great. Congratulations on your
Oh,
baby.
thank you.
And just remember your wife wants to sleep. So every once in a while, give her a break.
I really try. I really do. She doesn't believe me, but I try.
Oh, then try harder. Because if she doesn't believe you. No. Oh, tell us where we can find you. Do you have another show that's on the horizon already scheduled?
Yeah, so we have one planned for Tuesday. The thing with the socially distant shows is that we have to keep the location secret.
That's right.
So the location secret. I can tell you that it's going to be northern Utah, so we'll be up here in like Weber County area. But I'm gonna get a stream. I've been trying to get a stream working to stream the show like the last 2 times, but it's failed every single time. So
Do you know what platform you're planning on using?
Facebook Live.
Okay, see.
Yeah.
And real quick question, why did it fail?
It's the audio, so I'm trying to figure out
Oh.
how to get it's outside. Outside is like really hard because it's windy and
Yeah.
there's a lot of variables that cause problems with the audio. The video we figured out.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna do some tests with the audio, so we should have a good stream going this week.
That'll be fun. That's pretty much where almost all people are right now, trying to figure out all these platforms and how to make them work. So good luck with that. Good luck. I hope you'll be able to stream your show. If you can figure it out, when are we going to know that your live show will be available on Facebook?
So I'll have an invite going. I could send you the invite to get it out, but there'll be an invite page, and then I think I'll stream directly to the invite page, and then I'll share it to the American Islander and then to my private page.
Okay.
And then hopefully people start sharing it from there.
That will be good. I definitely will be looking forward for that. So just, message me. Message. I don't know what I'm winking for. That's where you would send it to me. So. Hey, it's been really great talking to you. I appreciate the time.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for letting me on.
Hey, no problem. Also, you didn't really tell us where you could be found. Give me all the places to look for you and find you.
Oh, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Facebook and Instagram are the American Islander, and then Twitter is Phono Prime. I don't really use. I'm really bad at Twitter. I need to get better at Twitter.
I totally understand.
And then if people can get my name spelled right, they can find me on Facebook. I friend everyone.
Okay.
Even the fake accounts. The fake accounts are actually my favorite to play with because I don't know.
I don't even want to ask, but I want to ask, but I don't want to ask. What exactly do you do with these fake accounts? The ones who follow? Oh.
Yeah, like the ones they'll send me a friend request and they'll like ask for money, and so I like to mess with them like I'm gonna send them money, and I get in fights with them and stuff. It's really fun. The most recent one was like he was asking me to send him $1,700 for something, and I was like, okay, I'll make out a check, and then I was asking for his address, and then I said, oh, I need your address so I know where to send the bombs. The check. I mean the check.
I'm just gonna leave it alone. Well, now we know not to ask you for money. Oh, good deal. So, Josh, Fonokalafi. Fonokalafi. I knew it was Fonokalafi, but I started putting extra letters in there so I could be more Tongan, and it didn't work. Josh Fonokalafi. But the best pages to find you on are the American Islander.
Yeah, the American Islander, Facebook or Instagram.
Probably the best. Sweet. We'll try to get the word out then. All right. Hey, thank you. Go enjoy that baby.
Oh, I will. Thank you very much.
All right. You take care.
All right, you too.
Bye.